Creativity is a very important process for the progress and major advances in every field. All the advances are made as a result of new ideas or creative process. It is the basis of the entire social development and new inventions and discoveries in the field of science and technology. Let us discuss more details about it. Concept of creativity. Creativity is the power of the mind to form new ideas and thoughts. It helps you imagine something new and special. For example, drawing, painting, writing comes from being able to wonder, appreciate, and think about things and be inspired by them. You ask yourself why you should not paint something as beautiful as the picture you have seen. Next day, you begin to draw or paint something of your own which is more beautiful than that you have seen. This is your creativity. So, creativity brings out something special in you. Now, you must be clear about the concept of creativity. Some of the definitions given by different psychologists will also help us to get the meaning of creativity more clear. Definitions of creativity. According to Dave Dahl, creativity is the capacity of a person to produce compositions, products, or ideas which are essentially new or novel and previously unknown to the producer. Creative is a process extended in time and characterized by original adaptiveness and realization, which was quoted by McKinnon. Creativity is a process sensing gaps or disturbing missing elements, forming ideas or hypotheses, communicating the result, possibly modifying and retesting hypotheses. However, most theorists agree that the creative process involves a number of components, most commonly imagination, originality, that is, the ability to come up with ideas and products that are new and unusual, productivity, that is, the ability to generate a variety of different ideas through divergent thinking, problem solving, that is, application of knowledge and imagination to a given situation. Creativity arises through the confluence of the following three components: knowledge, all the relevant understanding an individual brings to bear on a creative effort; creative thinking relates to how people approach problems and depends on personality and thinking or working style; motivation. Motivation is generally accepted as a key to creative production, and the most important motivators are intrinsic passion and interest in the work itself. What are the nature and characteristics of creativity? All the definitions reveal the nature and characteristics of creativity. Creativity is the resultant of some interaction. It is the ability to synthesize ideas or objects. It is an ability to create new ideas, theories, or objects. Creativity is the ability to develop something original. It is a process as well as product. It is a complex and dynamic process. It knows no special medium, place, person, or time. It is the capacity to accept challenge. It is readiness to change self and environment. Torrance has compiled a list of 84 characteristics of a creative person. Some of these characteristics are: a creative person is very adventurous. He is flexible in his thinking, feeling, and doing. He is very keen to explore and invent. He is intuitive, self disciplined, visionary, and willing to take risks. On the whole, creative children are constantly probing, discovering, imaging, asking questions, guessing, and wondering. On the whole, creative children are constantly probing, discovering, imaging, asking questions, guessing, and wondering. Therefore, They should be encouraged to ask unusual questions, to explore new ways of thinking, to try novel approaches to problem solving, to play with ideas and material. Why is creative thinking important? Creative thinking skills help develop intrinsic motivation and help the child to become a lifelong learner. Children should be given the opportunity to seek out new experiences and experiment with new ideas with adult supervision and support. They should be taught to ask questions and investigate to help develop critical thinking and problem solving skills. Stages of creative thinking. According to Graham Wallace, one of the leading psychologists of the early 20th century, stated that there are 5 stages of creative thinking. These are preparation, incubation, illumination, evaluation, and revision. Preparation. This is the first stage in which the thinker formulates the problem and collects facts and materials necessary for the solution. He or she finds that the problem cannot be solved after days, weeks, or months of concentrated effort. Unable to solve the problem, the thinker deliberately or involuntarily turns away from the problem, initiating stage 2, that is incubation. At this stage of problem solving, it is important to overcome negative consequences of mental set and any kind of mental set or bias. Incubation. This is a stage of no solution and involves a number of emotional and cognitive complexities. However, the negative effects of mental set, functional fixedness, and other ideas that interfere with the solution tend to fade. Perhaps fatigue and too much of concern with the problem also mount up during this period. Further, the unconscious thought processes involved in creative thinking are at work during this stage. Illumination. In this stage, a potential solution to the problem seems to be realized as if from nowhere. It is about having the insight about the possible solution. Illumination occurs with its aha experience when a sudden idea or solution appears into consciousness. Evaluation. In this stage, the obtained solution is verified or tested to see if it works. Frequently, the insight may turn out to be unsatisfactory and may need some modification in the strategy of approaching the problem. Revision. Revision is required in the case a solution which is not satisfactory. It has been found that creative people are generally talented, such as artists, musicians, mathematicians, etc., and have specific abilities. Lateral thinking. Lateral thinking, which is completely synonymous with creative thinking, is not focused on the fastest route to the endpoint, but rather it is focused on generating more and perhaps more interesting routes to the endpoint. In fact, its primary aim is to generate new ideas or new ways of doing things based far more on probability than certainty. Lateral thinking means thinking differently or thinking out of the box. Edward de Bono writes in Serious Creativity how he became interested in the sort of thinking that computers could not do, creative and perceptual thinking. Lateral thinking is about moving sideways when working on a problem to try different perceptions, different concepts, and different points of entry. The term covers a variety of methods, including provocations to get us out of the usual line of thought. Lateral thinking is cutting across patterns in a self-organizing systems and has very much to do with perception. The term lateral thinking can be used in two senses. Specific, a set of systematic techniques used for changing concepts and perceptions and generating new ones. General, exploring multiple possibilities and approaches instead of pursuing a single approach. 6 thinking hats. There are 6 metaphorical hats, and the thinker can put on or take off one of these hats to indicate the type of thinking being used. This putting on and taking off is essential. The hats must never be used to categorize individuals, even though their behavior may seem to invite this. When done in group, everybody wear the same hat at the same time. White hat thinking. This covers facts, figures, information needs, and gaps. I think we need some white hat thinking at this point. Means let's drop the arguments and proposals and look at the database. Red hat thinking. This covers intuition, feelings, and emotions. The red hat allows the thinker to put forward an intuition without any need to justify it. Putting on my red hat, I think this is a terrible proposal. Usually, feelings and intuition can only be introduced into a discussion if they are supported by logic. Usually, the feeling is genuine, but the logic is spurious. The red hat gives full permission to a thinker to put forward his or her feelings on the subject at the moment. Black hat thinking. This is the hat of judgment and caution. It is a most valuable hat. It is not in any sense of inferior or negative hat. The rare or negative hat. The black hat is used to point out why a suggestion does not fit the facts, the available experience, the system in use, or the policy that is being followed. The black hat must always be logical. Yellow hat thinking. This is the logical positive. Why something will work and why it will offer benefits. It can be used in looking forward to the results of some proposed action, but can also be used to find something of value in what has already happened. Green hat thinking. This is the hat of creativity, alternativeness, proposals, what is interesting, provocations, and changes. Blue hat thinking. This is the overview or process control hat. It looks not at the subject itself, but at the thinking about the subject. Putting on my blue hat, I feel we should do some more green hat thinking at this point. In technical terms, the blue hat is concerned with metacognition. Redefine problem. Redefine problem is a way to develop creativity among children. Redefining a problem means taking a problem and turning it on its head. Many times in life, individuals have a problem and they just do not see how to solve it. They are stuck in a box. Redefining a problem essentially means extricating oneself from the box. This process is the synthetic part of creative thinking. There are many ways teachers and parents can encourage children to define and redefine problems for themselves rather than, as is so often the case, doing it for them. Teachers and parents can promote creative performance by encouraging their children to define and redefine their own problems and projects. At some point, everyone makes a mistake in choosing a project or in the method they select to complete it. Teachers and parents should remember that an important part of creativity is the analytic part, learning to recognize a mistake and give children the chance and the opportunity to redefine their choices. Some of the approaches involved in creative thinking skills. Creative thinking skills involves the following approaches, such as engaging in reflection, looking for many possible answers rather than one, allowing yourself to make wild and crazy suggestions as well as those that seem sensible, not judging ideas early in the process, treat all ideas as if they may contain the seeds of something potentially useful, allowing yourself to doodle, daydream, or play with a theory or suggestion. Being aware that these approaches necessarily involve making lots of suggestions that are unworkable and may sound silly, making mistakes, learning from what has not worked as well as what did. Some of the creative thinking strategies. There is no limit to ways there are of thinking creatively. Some techniques you can begin with are listed here under. Brainstorm ideas on one topic onto a large piece of paper. Don't edit these. Allow yourself to play with an idea while you go for a walk or engage in other activities. Draw or paint a theory on paper. Ask the same question at least 20 times and give a different answer each time. Combine some of the features of two different objects or ideas to see if you can create several more. Change your routine. Do things a different way. Walk a different route to college. Let your mind be influenced by new stimuli such as music you do not usually listen to. Be open to ideas when they are still new, looking for ways of making things work and pushing the idea to its limits. Cultivate creative serendipity. Ask questions such as what if or supposing. Keep an ideas book. Inspiration can strike at any time. Ideas can also slip away very easily. If you keep a small notebook to hand, you can jot down your ideas straight away and return to them later. Alternatively, you could use the voice recorder on your mobile phone or send yourself a text message. What can I do to help my child? Ask open ended questions. Ask questions that require more than a yes or no answer. How else could we do this? What would happen if? What might we add or change? What should we do next? Offer choices. Help your child learn to be independent by making their own decisions. Be sure you are okay with either choice you are offering, but allow your child to choose and make the final decision. Incorporate creativity. Try incorporating creativity into everyday experiences. For example, if you are going out to eat at a restaurant, take along some paper and crayons and draw together as a family. Have one person start a drawing and the next person must add to it. Dramatic play. Allow time for dramatic or imaginative play. Have your child act like their favorite animal. Try adding an emotion to the animal like a happy cat or sad turtle to change it up. Be an inventor. Turn a household object into something else. Ask your child, what else could this be used as? Challenge your child to create new and unusual or unconventional uses for the object. Allow mistakes. Use mistakes as opportunities to learn rather than view them as something unsuccessful. Play music. Use your bodies to create a rhythm and make up a dance to go with the rhythm. Read poetry. Change up your reading habits, but mixing in poetry during reading time. Stop partway through reading the poem and ask your child what they think happens next. Draw more. Drawing is one of the first ways a child communicates their feelings before learning to read or write. Ask your child to tell a story that goes along with their drawing or give it a creative title. Stretch their knowledge. Support your child's interests. Take what they love a step further. Look up new books at the local library or use online resources to gain new knowledge. Be sure to use positive comments and open ended questions to stretch their thinking. Now, let me summarize this topic. In this module, we have analyzed the role of lateral thinking in creativity and the significance of making choices. We have also listed some of the approaches, strategies, and ways to develop creativity among children.